I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology.
Cher, what was your reaction when you heard him say that?
Oh, come on. And he says those letters like a child that's just learning the alphabet, and then pokes his finger in the air for Q. I mean, he's the most disingenuous man I've ever seen. And I want to tell you, my people will not believe him for a minute.
And what he brings to my country, what he's awakened in my country is bigotry and distrust. He tells something, and then you go back and you see what he said, and it seems like the truth both times. He's so terrific at lying. I've never seen anybody so good. I mean, it's just...
That my daughter was a hot piece of ass, I would put my fist through his face.
He deserves nothing. He does not deserve any kind of respect, loyalty. I don't think he has two moral fibers to rub together.
When Cher goes off, she goes off. And Trump? He just got slammed by a full-force vocal tsunami. She didn't just call him out, she ripped into him like a power ballad high note aimed right at his ego. The internet? Losing it? Late-night hosts? Feasting on this moment. And Trump? Probably rage-typing in all caps, scrambling to fire back. But let's be real, nothing can overpower Cher in full drag mode. This ain't just shade. This is a Category 5 Diva Storm.
The people he will bring with him will put an end to any hope that women have of getting the rights that we had in Roe versus Wade. I believe they will put an end to any gay marriage. They will put an end to gay adoption. It's not going to hurt me. I'm 70. It's not going to do anything to me, but it's going to do stuff to young people. And that really scares me, and it really bothers me.
If there's one thing the world knows, it's that Cher doesn't do subtle. So when she finally went off on Trump, she didn't just drop a passive-aggressive tweet or sneak in some shady comment during an interview. Oh no. She unleashed a full-blown verbal hurricane. It was loud, it was dramatic, and it hit harder than a high note in a sold-out stadium.
I will try and be as direct and honest with you as I possibly can be. I am positive that you are the most unattractive man I have ever met in my entire life. You have demonstrated every loathsome characteristic of the male personality and even discovered a few new ones. You are...
If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. Now, how did this legendary call-out go down? Was it a tweet so sharp that Elon considered banning capital letters just to stop the damage? Or maybe it was a no-holds-barred TV appearance, where she hijacked the entire segment and turned it into a one-woman roast session. But our personal favorite? A full-blown cinematic moment, delivering her words like she was performing the final act of a rock opera. Because let's be real, if anyone can make calling out a former president feel like a Grammy-worthy performance, it's Cher.
People in America could realize what kind of a person he is. What kind of, yes, but worse than that. And probably not very good. But.
And then the moment heard around the world, it didn't matter if you were scrolling your phone, watching TV, or just sipping your coffee, minding your business. Boom! There it was. A call out so strong it made people do double takes, hit rewind and ask, wait, did she really just say that? Yes. Yes, she did. Yes.
I have to tell you something. If someone said that my daughter was a hot piece of ass, I would put my fist through his face. Someone who would bring down the country because he doesn't win does not deserve anything, deserves nothing. He deserves nothing. Loyalty, I don't think he has two moral fibers to rub together. He wants to be the king, but he doesn't want to do the work. And I mean, I can't imagine, it's like...
Somewhere in the golden halls of Mar-a-Lago, Trump probably choked on his Diet Coke. 1 second, he was busy with his usual routine posting in all caps about ratings, polls, or how he invented golf. The next, spit take. Phones started ringing, advisors scrambled, and Fox News producers were already piecing together an emergency segment to defend his honor. Meanwhile, the internet had detonated. Twitter, or X whatever, turned into a war zone. Instagram became a meme factory. And TikTok? Forget it. TikTok was already running victory laps. The reactions came in fast and ruthless. People clipped, edited, and remixed within minutes. You had everything from dramatic slow-motion replays of Cher's words to auto-tuned remixes, turning her call-out into a full-blown diss track. And the celebrity reactions? Priceless. Some dropped cryptic laughing emojis. Others went full. She said what she said. Even the ones who usually stayed out of politics were grabbing popcorn like they had front row seats at one of her concerts. Cher had done it. She dropped the mic, walked off the stage, and left the world spinning. The only question now, how was Trump going to react? And more importantly, was Cher done, or was this just Act 1?
Total, complete alpha energy.
You could feel it coming. The moment Cher torched Trump, it was like setting off a firework in a gas station. There was no way he was letting this slide. And sure enough, just as the internet was catching its breath from laughing boom, Trump detonated on Truth Social. Fury. All caps. Exclamation points flying like confetti. This wasn't just a response, it was a full-blown meltdown for the ages. The man went straight into damage control, furiously pounding out a reply like his phone had personally offended him. And of course, his usual playbook was in full effect: deny, deflect, insult, and somehow make it all about himself.
Let's take a look at some of the people that claimed that they would leave America if Donald Trump became president again. In 2020, Barbara Streisand raised eyebrows when she said she'd move to England if Trump won a second term. She's still there. We, of course, saw Ellen leave with her partner, Portia de Rossi. She went to the Cotswolds in the UK. And actress America Ferrera claimed that she might be leaving at some point. Sharon Stone also said that she might move to Italy. Bring us up to speed on the celebrities that wanted to flee the States and those that are actually going to stick around.
And let's talk about that weak attempt to undermine Cher's career because, seriously, coming for someone who has dominated music, movies, and pop culture for generations, someone with more awards than he has failed businesses, someone who has survived everything from Hollywood drama to Twitter wars without breaking a sweat. Bad strategy. But here's where it got even better. Trump accidentally played himself. He was so desperate to dismiss Cher's legacy that he ended up listing every decade she's been wildly successful. It was like watching someone try to argue that Michael Jordan wasn't that great while reciting his championship wins. Iconic. Meanwhile, his inner circle hit full panic mode. The damage control crew was working overtime, scrambling to make sure he hadn't just boosted Cher's career even more while trying to take her down. Fox News. Oh, they were definitely gearing up to twist the story, probably calling Cher a Hollywood elite out of touch with real Americans or something, equally tired. But the internet, not buying it.
Like on paper, he looks so good, you know. He was brought up rich. He had a good education. He's got all these young chicks. I don't know how young, but he's got all these young chicks, and he just keeps trading them in on younger chicks, and he's got all this money, and he's famous, and still he's such a dick.
And then, like clockwork, came the nicknames. Because, of course, Trump had to slap together some childish, bizarre attempt at an insult. It was supposed to be devastating, but instead it sounded like a rejected drag queen name. Cher, the queen of reinvention, the master of style, could have flipped any of his weak jabs into a brand deal. If anything, she was probably already getting offers to slap his nonsense on t-shirts and sell them for a profit. But here's the real difference between them. Cher didn't even need to respond. She let the world do the roasting for her. While Trump was spiraling, raging, and scrambling to clap back, she was somewhere, cocktail in hand, laughing at the chaos she just created.
I believe, you know, none of us are perfect, but I believe she's genuine, and I believe, unlike Trump, who his friend of 20 years said the other night, Donnie Deutsch, said he doesn't want to be president. He said no one's more surprised than him. He wants the crowds, he wants the adulation, he doesn't give a shit about the world.
Because here's the thing. Cher isn't just a legend. She's untouchable. She's survived every era, every industry shift, every attempt to dismiss her. Meanwhile, Trump? He's a walking punchline, a man whose every tantrum only makes the joke even funnier. And this time, the joke was on him. Big time. Cher wasn't just winning, she was crushing. The second Trump tried and failed to land a solid comeback, the internet exploded into chaos. And right at the center of it, Cher, unshaken, untouched, entirely undefeated. While Trump scrambled to spin the story back in his favor, Cher was thriving, playing along like a performer who already knew the encore was hers. Her name was everywhere, turning from a simple typo into a full-blown cultural event. And the best part? She knew exactly how to keep it going. Instead of clapping back with anger, she doubled down on the joke, stepping into her new accidental persona with effortless confidence.
How did nobody run?
What are my thoughts on the Trump shooting?
Secret Service, these guys are the best in the business. Not going to happen again. And,
I want to say there shouldn't be political violence, but at this point...
Elections are like a clown show.
I think it's a gun rights thing.
You see Trump shot and you're thinking, well, did they actually get him?
I guess it's possible that it's a hoax, but I think it probably happened.
Our government lies to us all the time. It's not like he's above it.
He looks even stronger now.
Do you not want to vote?
Probably sealed the deal that he's going to be the president-elect.
To run for president at this.
Online, no one was debating policy. No one was rehashing old scandals. They were chanting Cher lives. In comment sections, changing their profile pictures to vintage Cher album covers, and making fan edits of her riding a golden chariot into battle. The internet had chosen a side, and it definitely wasn't the guy rage-posting into the void from his gilded Florida fortress. Trump's frustration was reaching critical mass. Every attempt to drag attention back to himself only backfired. His words weren't being taken seriously, they were being turned into memes before he could even finish typing them. No matter how hard he pushed, the world wasn't moving on from the Cher spectacle.
Okay, you have, rightly so, been incredibly outspoken about your disapproval of President Donald Trump. Say one nice thing about him.
What's one nice thing about him? There's nothing nice about him. I can't say one nice thing.
And Cher? Oh, she felt it, that shift. That moment when a fight stops being a fight and turns into one person desperately yelling while the other just glides through their victory lap. She didn't need to say much, just a few perfectly timed remarks, a laugh, a wink, a knowing smirk that told the world she wasn't just playing the game, she was running it. Then, in the middle of all the chaos, someone dug up Trump's old grudge against her, his past jab about her career being over. The irony? Too good to ignore. Because while he was floundering, she was effortlessly headlining the biggest viral moment of the week. Without even trying. His insults had aged like spoiled milk. Meanwhile, Cher? Timeless, untouchable, completely unbothered.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology.
Cher, what was your reaction when you heard him say that?
Oh, come on. And he says those letters like a child that's just learning the alphabet and then pokes his finger in the air for Q. I mean, he's the most disingenuous man I've ever seen. And I want to tell you, my people will not believe him for a minute. And I read that he was at a 7-hour, closed-door meeting with 400 of the most conservative, hate gay people, LGBT community that there are. So how does he go from that meeting to telling my people that he will...
TV hosts were weighing in. Late-night monologues were packed with secondhand embarrassment for him. And even his usual defenders were struggling to spin the situation in his favor. I mean, what was there to defend? A man so rattled by a pop icon that he accidentally handed her a brand new identity? It was self-sabotage on a level that no PR team could clean up. This wasn't just some petty back and forth anymore. It had turned into something bigger. A defining moment. A snapshot of what happens when a cultural titan stands unshaken while an enraged ex-president flails in the digital abyss. The contrast was stark. On one side, Cher was effortlessly basking in the glow of a newfound internet movement. On the other, Trump trapped in a losing battle against a joke he accidentally created.
You feel that you need to speak out?
Well, first of all, I'm a citizen, and that's my right. I've been through 11 presidents. We've been afraid of different countries, you know, and we've been afraid of different actions from those countries. I never thought that I would fear actions from my own country.
You're always very vocal about women's issues and supportive. Are you encouraged by the changes that are happening?
I am. I am so happy, and it's taken so long. I remember what you had to go through, and men patting you on the head, you know, and you're a star, and you're making all this money, and men are still...
By the time the dust settled, it wasn't just about who said what. It was about who walked away untouched. Trump had thrown everything he could, but he couldn't change one simple truth. Cher wasn't just a winner. She was eternal. She wasn't just making noise, she was on a full-blown warpath. From Provincetown to Miami to Fire Island, she wasn't just attending fundraisers, she was turning them into legendary pop spectacles. Political speeches? Please. She made them performances. Every room she walked into became a stadium. Every microphone a stage. And every Trump joke? A hit single. And it wasn't just Cher versus Trump anymore, she had an army. Drag queens, Cher impersonators, die-hard fans who had been standing since the 60s, they all answered the call. At every event, there were multiple versions of Cher Glam Cher, Disco Cher, leather-clad turn-back time Cher, and they all had the same mission: roast Trump to a crisp.
Where someone's got pretty much control over if you live, or if you can feed your children, or you can pay your rent, or you can do whatever, or if you're here illegally, or a million different things.
The fundraisers didn't even feel like political events anymore. They felt like sold-out Vegas residencies. Between fiery speeches, Cher would belt out a classic hit, throw in another punchline about Trump, and then sashay right into the next chorus as the crowd erupted. She wasn't just endorsing a candidate, she was leading a movement, with sequins, sass, and a microphone. And Trump? He was somewhere, still trying to figure out how Cher had become the most powerful name on the internet. At the end of the day, he can fire off as many rage-fueled, all-caps rants as he wants. But let's be real, Cher has already won. While Trump had tweets, Cher had an untouchable legacy. She's outlasted disco, defeated autotune, and conquered every decade since the 60s. Trump? He's still trying to figure out how to close an umbrella.
Say one nice thing about him.
And that whole past her expiration date argument? Nice try. Cher has been defying time, logic, and gravity for over half a century. She's survived fashion choices that should have ended careers, reinvented herself more times than anyone can count, and still sells out shows like she's in her prime. Meanwhile, Trump's biggest claim to youthfulness? A spray tan and an endless supply of cheeseburgers. But let's be real, this battle? Far from over. Cher's got a Rolodex of clapbacks and zero fear of speaking her mind. Trump? He's incapable of letting anything go. If you think this feud ends here, think again. The next time Trump so much as sneezes on Truth Social, Cher will be right there with another knockout punch. And when the dust settles, Cher will still be standing, probably in a bedazzled bodysuit singing, "If I Could Turn Back Time," while Trump desperately wishes he could.